Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, drive shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily. Hey folks, our Pro Truck Nationals wrap-up sponsored by High Gear Transmission, located in Conklin, Michigan. At High Gear Transmission, we work to be your one-stop driveline shop. Automatic or manual transmission work, transfer case and differential work, as well as engine upgrades and repairs, we can do it all. From daily driver and mild builds, all the way up to heavy duty and high performance, we keep you moving forward. So check them out on Facebook or give the shop a call. 616-887-4327. That's 616-887-4327. Joe Toney's High Gear Transmission.
We are here with Isaac DeHaan, John Sorg, and myself, Billy Teeters. And we're just doing a recap from the Pro Truck Nationals weekend at Silverback Offroad Speedway. And we'll just kind of let Isaac start with it first. Isaac, just before we get, without giving out the race results, how the weekend go?
You know, the weather held. We had really good weather both Friday and Saturday, I felt. The crowd, Friday night, the crowd was electric. There was a ton of people there for some great racing already Friday night to get things going. And then really had a good race yesterday. Biggest thing, without delving into results and stuff, and I think, John can speak to this too, really impressed with the Silverback Offroad Raceway crew in just the fact of staying on time, staying on task. We were done by 9:30 last night, and we had over 125 cars yesterday. And Friday night, I think we were wrapped up right about the 9 o'clock hour as well. So yeah, hats off to them for really running a good, efficient, clean show.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, John, what did you think of the weekend?
I thought it went pretty good. Like he said, track-wise and everything went really smooth. It was cool to see some people stick around and race. Curtis and them coming back to race. It was just cool all around. Good weekend.
Yeah, I heard that you suffered some breakage on Friday, though. That sucks.
I did. That hurt. I suffered a transmission failure on Friday, and that took me out of the game for Saturday. So, yeah.
You still got to compete in that Pro Truck Elite class. I seen you racing in that. That must have been a little bit of fun.
I did. That was a riot.
Yeah.
That was a riot.
Isaac, from the perspective of the tower, just how the race was ran and everything was kind of organized. You were kind of firsthand seeing how it was all done. You were probably doing it yourself. From the perspective of that, and you already gave kudos to the track staff stuff, but just from the perspective of being in the tower and stuff like that, what are some really cool things you noticed throughout the weekend?
So I noticed one thing. This for me is big, just coming from a guy that's, worked in staging before and that sort of thing. It seemed like we were not waiting for people to get ready. When they got to the front of the staging lanes, they were ready to go. There was no farting around. There was no, 20 entourage people trying to get things going, and that sort of thing. When people got to the front of the lanes, they were ready to rock, which made it easy on the track staff to keep the show moving. It's kind of a give and take, so to speak. The track obviously wants to keep things moving fast, but you want to put down a safe racetrack for people. and the racers, also want to keep things moving, but yet they have their way of doing things, when they get in the car and stuff like that. So kudos to all the racers there as well for getting on board with that. And, it's kind of a 50-50 game, right? The track can only work as fast as the racers allow them to work, and the racers can only get down the track as quick as the track allows them to get down. So I think that was a really big thing. One thing that surprised me, so my folks and my wife were there both nights, and both nights had people sit by them that had never been to Silverback and never been to any form of sand drag racing at all. And I thought that was just crazy. One, crazy, but also awesome that we could pull that kind of crowd out on this weekend to get out there. So really says a lot for the state of the sport, at least, on this side of, the west side of Michigan. But really cool to be able to introduce some new people to stuff they've never seen before.
Well, you alluded to earlier, having 120 cars, and for those new people to come out and see the variety of it. I mean, that's really cool to think about as well. John, you got anything cool to add before we get into some of these results?
No, it was really cool. Like Isaac said, to see the spectators, man. I mean, you're racing in front of people. That was a great time. They were getting involved, screaming and cheering people on. It was really neat to see, man. Kids run down the fence collecting candy from all the racers. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I seen that they did a tug of war for the kids too. That was kind of
They
cool to
did.
see.
Yeah. Yep. We actually had a wreck in the kids' foot race. A kid
Yeah,
got
I believe
into
that was a
catch-
cowboy.
A kid got into the catch fence and wiped out. I'm like, what?
That was awesome.
Where does that happen? You're calling a race, kid's foot race. Next thing you know, he's in the fence. Oh, he's upside down. I mean,
That was Cole's kid.
I thought it was. He says it wasn't, but I was pretty sure it was.
Oh,
But,
okay.
it might have been. I don't know.
But that's funny. Well, I hope that kid's okay for him to get
He
in
seemed to be.
a horrific crash like that on foot.
The other thing was during again to the kids' foot race, and I think this was for sure Cole's kid. They're up there getting ready, and all of a sudden he goes to Scott Shy. Hold on, man. I got to get my shirt, my pants, my shoes, my socks off. I'm way too heavy.
oh,
That's a smart
definitely
kid.
Cole boy. That was definitely
Smart kid.
definitely him. Good job, Zane.
That was great. I gotta shed some clothes to make weight. I'm like, oh my word. Oh.
That's freaking awesome. Well, hey,
Definitely Cole.
let's get into these results here real quick. Let's do it like this. We'll go through all the classes, and we'll save the pro truck classes for last. So
Sure.
let's
We'll start
go
on Friday night then.
Yeah. So Friday night open bracket. First place, Braden Cole. Second place, Matt Ewing. And I was watching a video, whoever went live on the Pro Truck Nationals Facebook page. You said Matt Ewing hasn't raced in 10 years.
I don't know for sure that it's 10, but I know it's probably in the 8, 9-ish area.
Well, he shows up and gets second place. I mean, was Braden Cole driving the truck or the Alder? Probably the truck.
The truck Friday night.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So then we move on to our 350 index class. The Dean Dangermond getting first place over the king of 350 so far this year, Terry Wise. Look at that. So that blower setup for Dean coming along pretty good, huh, John?
Yeah. Starting to come around for him. They're kicking some butts. So yeah, he had a great night.
Good.
Yeah, and Terry Wise took out Devin Royce, who is also a 350 hitter in the first round already. So
yeah.
Wow. I know Devin's a killer in that class, so that's surprising to hear.
Yeah.
I'm going in order of what they posted here. So let's go. Pee-wees. First place, Isabel Penoyer. Second place, Wesley Green. Shout out to those kiddos. Juniors, first place, Ava Van Beelen. And then second place, Camdia Combs. Combs.
The Van Vielen girl is John Van Vielen's daughter with that beautiful blue S10 truck, and also with the creamsicle square body.
Oh, he had that blue truck. That's the same guy? with the blue
Same
truck
dude.
and that's awesome.
Yep.
The orange and white square body and the blue S10 that didn't make it to the competition. We'll get into that in a little bit. That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Pro Index, the 325 Index class. First place, Rob Shyatt. Second place, Jay Portinga.
One of the best final rounds of the weekend. Rob goes 325 with a 1. Jay goes 324 with an 8 or something like that, or a 7, I think it was. I mean, it was that kind of tight. They were like 034, 050 reaction times. I mean, it was that kind of just crazy tight at the big end. It was nuts.
Oh, that's
that's
Tyson
cool.
versus Ali. That's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. And of note, Rob Shyatt, the car Rob's in, Pro Charger small block. This is the old Curtis Tree Service car that Randy, what's his last name? Vanderput used to own. Correct. Same car. I believe they've done maybe some little updates to it, rewire some stuff like that. I don't know tweaking wise on the motor what they've done, but yeah, good to see that car back on the track again.
Well, that thing moves. That thing definitely moves. So we move on to the ATV class. First place, Kyle Wiedmeyer taking first place win with his Polaris Razor, and they allow vehicles with power sport engines to run in the ATV classes, right? So it could be a dragster, a buggy, or a side by side.
Yeah.
As long as
Yes.
it's power sport powered, then you can run the ATV class at Silverback Offroad Speedway. Well, cool. And then Pro Comp, the battle of the brothers right here. Look at that. First place, Blake Cole getting the win over his younger brother, Braden Cole, who gets second. Well, that's pretty interesting to see right there.
I'm going to say
Absolutely.
something that's 100% true, and there's no argument there. Blake absolutely cut the tree down, and Braden made himself a sandwich before he left.
Oh,
Not only did he make it, he ate it.
He did. It was like seriously like a 300-ish reaction time. It was
big.
like I was like, and he had been like 030s, 040s the entire day. That's why when it came up on the screen at first, I thought it was a misprint on that thing. I mean, really, I'm like, what the world? And oh yeah, Blake just absolutely nailed him on the tree,
dude. The big brother getting in his head right there. That's crazy. I forgot to say this. In the ATV class, Kyle Wiedmeyer got the first place win over second place Dan Bennett. Dan Bennett got second place in the ATV class. Open modified, first place, Mitch Ecker?
Yes.
Ecker.
Okay. Ecker?
Yeah. Yeah, and
Okay.
that green bad seed altered. So tell you what, that car was on the number all weekend. I mean,
big time.
Very
I don't think I know what that car
group.
is.
And
it's
so
like a
was
limey
he.
green, kind of almost looks like a Dreher car, but it's not type of deal.
Okay,
Came out of Missouri or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, it came out of like Ohio, Indiana area.
Yeah,
it is 4-wheel drive as well.
I gotcha. So Mitch Ecker getting the win over Braden Cole. Braden Cole getting another second place finish. So Braden's actually made podium 3 times already. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pro ATV. First place. I didn't know this. My boy Dan Nineheist. Let's go. That's awesome.
Dude, he busted out a 308. Was
308.
it?
Fastest
308.
passed by anybody this weekend.
Dude, he was running the fast laydown?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
308.
That's awesome. He gets the win over Nick Bennett. Nick Bennett getting second place in the Pro ATV class. Well, what was Dan Bennett and Nick Bennett riding? Do you guys know?
They've got a lay down, but I'm not sure what the power plan is.
They were sharing
it's like a 2-cylinder snowmo.
Yeah, okay. I know which one. The red and black one, right?
No, the silver one, not the fast one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
And then Dan was running their Can-Am.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. So there was 2 side-by-sides in the final of the ATV class. Oh man, that's funny. But hey, that's the rules over there. So, but yeah, Pro ATV first place Dan Nineheis, second place Nick Bennett, and then comp class. Actually, seeing this one on Facebook as well. First place Joe Cady getting the first place win over Larry Brocker.
Dude,
Yeah, I
Joe
tell you
Katie's
what,
tearing it up. Joe Katie
absolutely.
is on fire.
Yeah, he's going to dethrone John Sorg as the winningest driver at Silverback this year. Well, Kada might have already done it. Who knows?
Yeah, they're taking the throne, man. They're kicking butt.
All right.
Hey, and shout out to Larry Brocker too. That is a guy that does not race a ton, and
Right.
that was a good comp class that he went through. So shout out to him, man.
Absolutely.
Shout out to anybody's name that we just said. Shout out to.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure, man.
Now let's get into. Well, you had some 295 cars there, and they ran a few passes on Friday night, ended up running on Saturday, and then that's okay though. They're probably just worn out from a long vacation week. So let's go into these pro truck classes, and we'll start with the one that happened on Friday night first. Pro Truck Elite, which it came down to the 8 fastest trucks that ran test and tune. And Isaac, go ahead and tell us about this field here. It was very competitive, I hear.
It was quite competitive. Pro Truck Elite paced by Todd Bilesma, which he put up a 312. I believe they only made one hit during the test and tune, ran that 312 and said, hey, good enough. We know we're in the field. We're going to sit tight. He was, quote unquote, your number 1 qualifier. And our guy John Sorg here was your number 8 at a 385. So pretty wide range there. But a fair amount of guys did not make the call. Jason Benson had transmission issues. Truck never even made it down to the property. Earl Lettner also with some transmission issues. That truck missed. Brett Penoyer's Bronco was not there, had a battery fire, I guess, like a week or two ago. So, yeah, I mean, really some really good stuff was still in the barn, so to speak. But this was a great 8-truck field. I mean, it really was. And Scott Vogel, new guy that did not even run the class last fall when we ran it, was there with that twin turbo Colorado. So good to see that thing out. And I tell you what, that thing
That is cool.
That thing is cool, really cool. So look
He's
forward
got
to
that thing going really well.
Mm-hmm.
So the porting just had that truck out real quick, didn't they? Right after picking it back
Ryan
up.
actually was in it. Best pass they made was a 356 with an 8. So kind of middle of the field.
That's so fast. That's crazy.
Yep. So
yeah,
very interesting. Ryan had mentioned last night at the end of regular Pro Truck that so currently they've got a fairly sizable motor in the Heartbreaker Jeep that he ran yesterday in Pro Truck. And he mentioned last night that maybe what needed to happen was the motor needed to come out of that and head to his truck instead, or something to that effect. So that could get really interesting before we see this class again in September.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Well, you guys did. How was the ladder done again? I forgot. You might have already said that.
So we chip draw for first round, and that sets the ladder moving on out. So, which is kind of cool because you never know. I mean, you don't know what you're going to end up with. You could have 2 fastest trucks racing each other right off the bat in the first round, or they could end up on opposite ladders. You have no idea. That's why
it's cool.
Qualifying is important to get you in, but it's no guarantee of where you're going to end up.
Well, that's kind of how it ended up. It was just the 2 fastest trucks were on opposite side of the ladder, so it made it pretty interesting, right?
I'm trying to think now. Let me look at my notes here a second. Actually, I think technically that's how it ended up, but Jason Vanderwall had run a 24 or 25 at one point in time, had actually leapfrogged Curtis Combs at one point for being kind of the second fastest truck there. So,
dude, that black truck ran a 24.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It ended up being Todd Bilesma in the Wine Time Jeep in the final up against Curtis Combs. Unfortunately, now this is where things get, you don't know. Todd had run a 3:09 and some change in the semifinals with that wine time Jeep. And I believe they were looking to run another low 3:0 pass to reset the record if at all possible. Unfortunately, the last blower belt that they had was missing about 75% of the teeth on it. And they lost the belt at some point during the pass. And it still ran like a 3:26 or a 3:28. So, I mean, literally that thing made that kind of a pass, and the Pro Charger belt had exited at some point in time.
That's insane. What did and Curtis ended up getting the win, so congratulations to Curtis Combs.
Oh, absolutely.
What did Curtis run on that final pass? It was his quickest pass of the weekend, I'm pretty sure.
3:19, I think, something like that.
3:19. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and shout out to those guys. I mean, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I think I texted you guys that Rich had texted me. They were texting him asking if that Jeep was even Pro Truck legal. So they didn't decide till like middle of the week. They were coming back to try to run, a lead on Friday night and see how it went. So great showing by those guys. Really impressed. I know he was just beyond the moon Friday night after the race. So great to see that happen. And, man, I feel bad for Bilesma and those guys, though, because that truck was getting ready to lay down a number, and just that belt would not hold together. I think that was like their third belt that they had been through in the evening type of deal. So, I mean,
yeah.
I was going to say Curtis Combs definitely is happy. He got $1,000 for paying no entry fee and showing up and winning some races. He won 3 races and took home $1,000. That's some good money right there. So shout out to Curtis Combs.
Basically a $40 investment,
Yeah, because the test and tune, right? Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, you could turn $40 into $1,000. I mean, dude, I need to have that guy manage my retirement.
Now, Isaac, if I recall, didn't Curtis during qualifying on Saturday run like a 3:11?
Yes, he did. I was gonna say that he ran a 3:11 on a qualifier for 295. Really kind of reworked that into the Pro Index class. But yeah, he ran a 3:11 on Saturday. That thing is flying right now. So
that's moving here at our track.
That thing definitely has potential to run probably deeper into the twos than people expect. So I hope that they get that thing more figured out to where they can put more power to that thing and get it running down into the twos, like I'm sure they're hoping for. But once again, shout out Curtis Combs, first place, Pro Truck Elite. Shout out Todd Balsma, Pro Truck Elite, second place. Those guys, big things coming in that next race in September from those guys. I can feel it. And then let's move on to
shout out while we're at it. Shout out to Dave Kramer and Jason Vanderwall, our two our third and fourth place runners there in Pro Truck Elite. Jason Vanderwall, I mean, literally could have beat everybody except for Bilesma and Curtis Combs on the property, and he draws Bilesma in the second round. And Kramer gets, Mr. OG Pro Truck himself, qualifies middle of the field, gets past the first round, and actually gave Curtis a pretty good run for his money in that semifinal. So
that Jeep is sick.
Yeah.
That Jeep is awesome. I saw a video where he was just carrying the wheels. He lifted the wheels about 60 foot. I never saw him touch the ground since. And he still won the race. It was awesome.
Only nitrous car in the field for Pro Truck Elite.
Nice. Only nitrous car in the field.
Yeah. And I gotta own something here a second too. Yeah. I mistakenly said Nick DeBoer had a big turbo LX in that Jeep. That is actually a Pro Chargered motor from Holthoff High Performance. My bad. I completely own that. Even as I said it, I'm like, I don't think that's right, but I didn't catch myself. And so, Nick, sorry about that. Joe obviously didn't maybe take anything away from you guys. And that thing really runs for what it is, too. I mean, that is a bad hot rod. It looks very unassuming, and it runs like nobody's business.
Well, that Pro Charger's just a giant turbo, right? So
sure.
No, you were wrong.
Big snail. It's all good.
The Pro Truck class going into Saturday. Isaac, what do you got notes on that? The Pro Truck class seemed pretty good.
It was excellent. We had 12 trucks. Qualifying went from, so Chad Royce was your number one qualifier after the first go round with like an 034 light. And I think it was second or third pair out in our second session. It was Jay Portinga and Kramer, Dave Kramer. And both of them, Jay went 018 on the light. Kramer was 029. So they went to the 1 and 2 on the qualifying sheet in one pass. I mean, and that's how it could go, right? You're number one, and literally in one pass, you can find yourself in number 3 and even falling back further than that if it doesn't come. But I tell you what, 8 trucks. So we had 12 trucks. 8 of the 12, 056 or better light in qualifying. So if you're going to come and run O truck, you better bring your A game on the tree.
Absolutely.
So Jay Portinga was your number one qualifier, not only in reaction time, also in speed. Ran a, let me look at my note here a second. Ran a 329 in qualifying to put himself on that 320 index. So
What was that last part? I'm sorry.
no, Jay was on also was not only your quote unquote number one qualifier, but also ran top speed or low ET of the class at a 329 with a 9 in qualifying. So put himself onto that 320 index, which at the time he didn't seem like he really wanted to be on, but actually as the night went on, it actually was right where he needed to be. So,
and I might have missed it. Who'd you say the number one qualifier was?
Jay Portinga, 018.
Oh, it was Jay. Oh, wow.
Yep. Yeah, Jay did very well in pro truck as far as getting himself where he needed to be competitive. So,
well, then unfortunately, I don't see his name on what we're about to list. I wish I'd be reading his name, but we're one similar to it. But
so
Isaac, take it away. Yeah.
Yeah. So first round, and this is kind of how Jay's night went. First round, he had the unfortunate circumstance of running into Brian McQuethy, who we'll talk more about here in just a second. And so Jay was 049 on the tree, goes 319 with an 8 on a 320 index. Brian goes 035 on the tree, goes 406 on a 4 flat index to put him on the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was kind of the story of Jay's night right there.
Wow.
So second pair out, we had Tom Hartman Sr. and Dale Flogger. Senior was 043 on the tree, goes 422 on a 420 dial. Dale Flogger 048 on the tree, 386 on a 380. So if you see a theme here, man, these guys stepped it up once it got to eliminations for sure. And then Kramer was 017 on the tree in the third pair, went and broke, and actually it was a double breakout. No, sorry, it was a red light start. I'm sorry. Kramer was 017 on the tree, went 359 on 360, but I got to see who he was racing. Tristan Simon was 020 red light. And so Kramer basically had a freebie, but 359 on a 60. I mean, could have easily been, a 60, 61, there.
For sure.
Then we had Jim Bailey in the next pairing up against Corey Myers, 093 on the tree for Jim, 382 on a 380, forced Corey into a breakout 398 on a 4.0. Then it was Blake Cole picking up the win against Lydia Portinga. Neither one were really good on the tree. Blake was 098. Lydia was like 148 on the tree. Blake was 443 on a 440. Forced Lydia into the breakout 378 on a 380. So that was his first round win. And then Chad Royce, they put the body back on that Jeep from the 350 class, that Devin runs. Goes 061 on the tree, 369 on a 360. And then Ryan Portinga gets past him with an 089 bulb, but goes 403 on a 4 flat. So that kind of set up your second round matchups. Brian McQuethy versus Tom Hartman Sr., Kramer versus Jim Bailey, and Ryan Portinga versus Blake Cole.
What we got for second round? What happened?
The second round, Brian 022 on the tree, goes 407 on a 4 flat. Forces Hartman was 039 on the tree and goes 419 with a 4 on a 420.
Oh no. Dang.
Oh yeah. Next pair was Kramer versus Jim Bailey. Jim was 060 on the tree, goes 383 on a 380. Actually, whole shot win as Kramer was 363 on a 360, but had a 170 bulb. I'm not sure what happened there. I saw Dave start to roll in, and the bulb kind of flickered, and then it went out, and then he kind of bumped it in a little further. And I think when that happened, maybe it just threw off his timing a second, because Dave is usually not that late. And yeah, so, and then probably one of the biggest race I felt of the third round was Ryan Porting going 070 on the tree to Blake Cole's 078, goes 404 on a 4 flat, forces Blake to go 438 with a 5 on a 440 dial. So that was a big swing around there, because I felt like Blake was starting to get some momentum going in some of the other classes, and kind of like what happened last year is, he kind of got going a little bit, and really kind of felt like the momentum was in his favor right there. And man, Ryan Portinga just cooled as a cucumber, just let him have it. So
that's kind of an upset right there, because Blake was last year's champion, right?
Correct. And Ryan is driving his daughter Grace's Jeep, not even one of his own, own rides, so to speak. So yeah, I felt like that was a pretty big round. So the really important part was that top half of the ladder, which we started out with Portinga, Brian McQuethy, Hartman, and Dale Flogger. Because of the 12 truck field, that side of the ladder had a single into the final. So it gave Brian McQuethy the bye run into the final. So you end up with Ryan Portinga versus Jim Bailey. Ryan goes 088 on the tree, goes 4.004 on a 4.000 dial to pick up the win. Bailey was trailing the whole way, had a little bit of a late bulb. We'll just leave it at that, and goes 383 with a 5, but could only watch. And so it ended up being final round, Brian McQuethy, Ryan Portinga, and Brian, same he'd been doing all night, goes 031 on the tree, 405 on a 4 flat. Ryan was 075 on the tree and had to leg it out on the big end, ends up running 399 with a 7 on a 4 flat dial. Wow. So that's how close a racing it was all the way through for Pro Truck.
Wow. So Brian McWethy getting the win. He was racing like I picked him to win that class last week. So let's go. Congrats, Brian.
I tell you what, it was, I mean, there wasn't a single pair though that was a bad pair, so to speak. I mean, I felt it was very good racing across the board. The guys were really into it. About the only kind of downer was that we didn't have 16 trucks, but we were easily missing Brian Jones, former class champ, wrecked the motor shortly here. That thing's done. I don't even know if he's going to be back for September. Willie Bursley, truck not together, not there, along with some other guys that we know that could have been there. Really, the big thing was, aside from Coles, didn't really see a whole lot of out of the area trucks there, which was a little on the disappointing side, just because, hey, it's a good class, and there's a lot of guys that can run that class as well. So,
yeah, well, when schedules conflict, that'll happen sometimes, but hope for better things in September. Great weekend for the Pro Truck Elite and great weekend for Pro Truck regular class. One more thing, John, did you coach Jim at all to help him with that third place finish?
I didn't need to. He pretty much picked it up on his own. He had struggled the first couple passes, and next two he started zoning in. I just leave him alone and do his thing.
You just wind him up and you let him go. There you go.
I just cheer him on, man. Pump him up and let him rip.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Jim. Jim's a dog. Shout out to Ryan Portanga for getting second, and then first place winner Brian McWethy, securing my pick for him to win that class. So that's awesome. And that was our wrap up for the Pro Truck Nationals race 1 at Silverback Offroad Speedway.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, drive shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
Let's talk about the race results from the big money race that happened in Brookville, Indiana, Franklin County four-wheelers. And that just happened this past weekend. Damien was there. It's just me and Damien right now, if you haven't noticed. How'd it go?
Overall, it went great. We had a little trouble starting the day Friday. Still they thought they had the light system figured out. I've come to find out, and anybody with a porta tree system, if you're having this issue, check this. If you've got two computers connected to the system, one working the class, one working the timing system. In the computer that controls all the classes and numbers and everything, you have to change it per class, what starting system they're using. So no matter what you change on the tree side, it has to match. The side for all the classes has to match.
Okay.
So, we ended up getting that fixed. Everyone's numbers started running accurate. Our Jeep ran decent. It was running 430s until the end of the first round. Dad went out and made his pass, and the torque converter decided to give up on us.
Ooh.
Yeah, it gets about $4,000, and then it tightens up a lot.
Damn, Mooch.
I think the 300 shot up there at Michigan probably finished it off.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
It just took this long for it to fully give up.
Well, then what'd you do? What'd you do? You were out of the race then.
I went and borrowed this big friggin' truck right behind me, Anthony Ball's 1200 horse big block Chevy truck. And it did its job. It ran consistent as hell. I just got lucky a lot of rounds in that thing. I could not cut better than a 112 light.
Well, this still got you a good 4th place finish in
that
this
at least
race.
Got my entry fee back.
Yeah. Who got 3rd?
3rd went to Zora Waters Peters. The old Retriever Racing little Black Willie's Jeep weighs next to nothing with them 20s and keeps rolling. And she ran new personal best of a 4:05 over the weekend.
4:05?
Yes.
Wow. Well, congratulations
Track really
to them.
Came around.
It sounds like it. Anybody else run a personal best besides her before we move on?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure there was a few.
Okay. And then who got 2nd?
A perennial finalist when it comes to these big money races. Just about every year you see this name at least once. It's Michael Robbins.
Oh man.
$1,500 for 2nd place.
$1,500 for 2nd place. Oh my, that's some good money right there. Well, hey, first of all, I almost there, Michael. You were my pick to win, but you got 2nd. Good enough. Well, you took on $1,500, so you can't complain too much. So who won this thing, Damien?
Timmy Estridge, the old Stallo orange truck, 632 big block, 4 1s, 4 0s all night long. Wow. He's one you always see no matter where it is. Last year, he was a contender for beating Carson in the points all year. Took home for 1st place $5,025.
$5,000. Woo! There was no splits. They just ran for the money.
I'm not going to say anything about the final.
Okay, cool. All right.
For it.
All right. I'll say there was.
I'll
go on record and say there was no splits. So, all right. Well, that's awesome. Timmy Estridge took home $5,000.
Here's the fun ones. Best reaction and closest to dial.
Ooh.
Shelby Mounts got best reaction at a .00006 5.
I didn't even know you could keep track
Well,
of reaction time to that
We had
many
someone
decimals.
put out a bounty for this race. Whoever got a perfect light to the 5th digit would have gotten $500.
Wow. What'd she get?
Shelby, I believe he got 125 or so. I don't know the exact amount off the top of my head. And then closest to dial was Chris Ferry with 0.0002 off his dial. 200 thousandths of a second.
That's crazy. I didn't know. Our timing system doesn't keep track of it down to that many. That's
Porter
crazy
Tree will
that
go
y'all
out
just-
5 or 6 digits if you
Porter
ask
Tree,
it to.
Cool. Well, that's pretty sweet that y'all can do that. Well, hey, shout out to Shelby Mounts and shout out to Chris Ferry. What is best package? What is that?
All together. So whoever got the best reaction with closest to dial. So say
That's-
000 and 450 on a 450 is perfect. Whoever got the closest to being perfect pass won that. And that was
Gotcha.
Chris Ferry's older brother, Dave Ferry.
Wow.
Now, I do know one race that I heard him announce over the PA. The margin of victory was 2 10,000ths.
Ooh. Ooh. That's like
That's the computer going, I think you got it.
that's the computer playing rock, paper, scissors to figure out who wins.
Right.
Well, then, dude, that's awesome. Shout out to those guys who placed podium at the big money race. That's awesome. There was
We also had a second chance
Yep.
race.
Yeah. What did that pertain? What was second chance? It's just like people who
Anyone
lost.
who lost in the first round.
I
So
was just about
there
to
was
say
the
that, so
potential
okay.
to be 37 entries in that. I don't know if they got the full field for that. So everyone who lost first round had the opportunity to enter that. Obviously, not everyone did. I know some of the Lisbon crew didn't enter that. I know my dad didn't enter that. Obviously, with the Jeep being broken, he didn't feel like climbing in and out of somebody else's car with the way his hip feels. But Leighton Mallow out of Missouri, a former winner of the big money race in the Desperado, got first place. And then Blake Halpin, who won slow class at the first race of the year, got second. And that was a $50 to enter class. So even at 30 cars, that's $1,500 up for grabs.
And how much? And first place took how much? You said? And then the second chance?
If it was 50 cars, I don't know what the split was between first and second. I just know it was 100% payback with $50 entry fee, and I don't know the exact car count because I had to leave as soon as everything was done because I had to get to work the next morning early.
Well, yeah, you work early too, so that was probably rough. Well, shout out to those guys who made it to the finals of second chance race, Leighton Mallow and Blake Halpin. And shout out to everybody who did really well at the Franklin County Big Money race. Damian wins Franklin County's next race.
Don't know about that because I got some work to do to get mine together. Next race is going to be the fair race. They're going to have a Friday night race, and I believe Saturday is the points race. I'm not 100% certain on Friday on that, but I believe they're just going to do a normal bracket race Friday night just because the fair race brings out a lot more racers than normal because it's the 4-H. It's the 4-H fair, and we'll see people just bring their trucks out of the corn cribs just to. I want to race my buddy from high school.
All right. Well, hey, fair race sounds like a good time. And was that your preview for it?
For now, we got till next week to get it.
Yeah.
It's usually, like I said, it's usually just the biggest race of one of the bigger car count races of the year, just because of it being the 4-H fair for this county, for Franklin County.
So you guys are expecting like a lot of cars for this.
Oh yeah, we'll probably expect about 10 to 20 car bump to the normal show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, anything else you want to add for this preview since we're already talking about it?
Not much. I don't know what, if any, extra classes they have planned. I know last year they did a sort of pro truck class, fastest 8 actual trucks on the property. Unfortunately, no Jeeps in that, but that's neither here nor there. Wasn't my show to put on.
So they said no Jeeps? They just
No
wanted
Jeeps.
trucks.
Had to be trucks.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, whatever.
Exactly. It was their race to put on. I
Yeah.
personally would have loved to have entered, but they were the ones that put it together. They wanted it to be trucks.
Maybe they could do Jeeps versus trucks.
We'll see about that. Like I said, who knows what the Jeep's going to run going forward. I might not even have it out at the fair race at this point. May just take my old work truck out there and run it.
Hey, why not? And then, you got other people with Jeeps too. Maybe they could do
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. So plenty
Totally.
of that as well. Well, that fair race sounds very exciting. I wish I could be there for that. Big turnout from the crowd too, bigger than usual.
Oh, yeah, totally. And that sometimes leads into other issues. The fairgrounds up on top of the hillside, they have the 4-H fair going on. That usually gets packed. The fair board, the gate fee goes up a little bit usually for the fair race because the fair board controls the gate, not the club.
I gotcha. Well, I guess that's a little understandable too. Big weekend. So,
Right.
well, that was the preview of the fair race that Franklin County's got coming up. So, and if they announce any additional classes, we will be sure to add that in later on.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, drive shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
Welcome back. We are with a special guest, MRA board member Keith Mitchell. He was your modified cuts winner at the first MRA race of the season this year. And let's go ahead and get into this thing. Keith, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Good evening, Billy. My name's Keith Mitchell from Fredonia, Pennsylvania. Been playing in the mud since I was a kid, from bicycles all the way up through. Got a Toyota Land Cruiser, got into mud bogging, won my first race at 55 feet. That was about 35 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it just progressed up to bigger and badder every year for the last 30-some plus years, and to the point now where we have the Magician and a rear engine rail with a Sonny's motor and triple disc clutch and all the good parts to go with it.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell us about your car. Tell us a little bit more about it.
The chassis was built by Blaine Kilby. It had some different ideas when it was originally built, but we've modified it to make it fit our applications. It is rear engine. We started out with a 744 in this chassis. We've since switched to a 960 cubic inch Sonny Leonard's motor. It has 4 stages of nitrous. We've only ever been able to accomplish 3.
How many cubic inches? How many cubic inches you said it was?
960.
960 cubic inches?
Come out of a Pro Mod drag car.
Ooh. And you said you could only get through 3 stages of nitrous?
We just figured out how to make the 3rd stage work last fall without blowing the tires away. Keeping it hooked up has been a challenge with that much horsepower, and trying to make it get down the track without spinning.
Well, that's some big horsepower right there. And it obviously works because you got first place in modified cuts. And we'll kind of start with this Nebraska preview. MRA, Motor Racing Association, heading to Thunder at the Pits in Burwell, Nebraska, July 12th and 13th, tomorrow and Saturday. And we are very excited. I will be there. When you're listening to this, I'll be there by then. I'm there right now. Now you're listening to this. And so Keith, we'll start with we'll start with modified class since you won that class and you said you're hoping to make it. You're waiting on some parts. And man, tell us about that modified class because that seems like a really, really tough class.
It really is. It's the class is very tight. I mean, we're splitting hairs between each cars. It's anybody's game. There's some really top good guys out there. There's some, family father-son teams, some, lots of father-son teams, buddies that work together well. We all work together well. And with everybody working together, we're always looking to get one little bit ahead of the next guy. And so it literally at every race, it's anybody's game. When you got the Masseys, you got the Dunn Savages, you got the Georges, myself, Gene Cruz comes out. And I know I'm making a mess out of this and missing some guys, but the class is a lot of fun. We enjoy each other's camaraderie, and at the end of when the class is over, we high five each other, whoever won, and then usually have a adult beverage after that.
Well, there you go. So you got a bunch of high fives and a bunch of beverages last race, didn't you?
Yes, we did. It was a long time coming. We've been, the cuts have been a challenge for us. We had the scoops working, and then we was working to get the cuts working. We got the cuts, and then it went back to it kind of went back and forth. And I think we finally got a program now where we're making the cuts and the scoops work pretty well. So we'll keep. It's always a balancing act and tweaking things, but now we lost the clutch on that winning pass. We lost the clutch, so that's what we're waiting on right now is another clutch. And so I hope it isn't start over mode with the new clutch that's coming, and hopefully we see it here in time so we can make it to Nebraska.
Yeah, I hope you can make it there too, so we can meet face to face and not Zoom to Zoom.
Right.
So let's move on with another class, and I'm just going off the list I have right here. Tell us a little bit about the Pro Stock class and what it holds.
Pro Stock's a lot of fun to watch because they still run full bodies. You can still recognize what that class is. It's we consider it our entry level class, but it's far from that. They got some monster exotic motors. They're fun to watch because they run full bodies. It looks like an S10, looks like a Ranger, looks like a Jeep. On down the list, it's so nice to have full bodies on these, and so the crowd can really get involved with that class. And they're flying. I mean, they're running wheelie bars now, cut tires, and the class is a lot of fun to watch. And we're trying to get the class, to get the class back under control so we can get some more people involved with it and make it a little bit more affordable. I mean, now the class is affordable by any means, but that's a no nitrous class, single carbureted, somewhat of a frame. You're allowed to alter the frames and things like that, but a lot of fun. I'd like to see some more people get involved with it.
Yeah, and that's what you mean by like getting it back under control. So like more people are able to join the class, right?
Correct. Yeah, I mean it's pretty big motors, some pretty exotic motors, and they are fun to watch. They make a lot of horsepower, but it could be tough for some other guys to get involved in the class, and we're trying to fix that.
Well, yeah, they're working on it right now. So if you're looking to get in the Pro Stock class in the Mud Racers Association, looks like they're helping you out here. And let's move on to Pro Stock. What do you got? Or we just did that. Sorry, Super Stock is what I meant. Let's move on to Super Stock.
Super Stock is just as it sounds. It's there again, another full body class, full frames underneath. They got to weigh, I think, 4,500 pounds. There again, they got some pretty good sized motors in them. Another class, very fun to watch. The crowd can relate because they're full bodies. They're going fast. We got them on cuts now also. For a long time, they were on DOTs uncut, and to make it more competitive, make it easier for the track and actually safer, we let them get on cuts a few years ago, and I think the guys are having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, cool.
But that class, we run rounds. That class is
right.
It's elimination class. So you get to see them trucks for the whole all Saturday. They started out with a qualifying run. So they set their brackets and then run on through until we come out with a winner.
How many, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, how many Super Stocks were in Missouri?
7, I believe.
7. Okay. Is that a pretty good turnout for that class, right?
That's about average. We nothing like having a dozen or more, but lately 7 to 8 is an average.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easy bracket to make then if you got 7 or 8. So,
Right.
well, hey, super stock drivers, get out there. Burwell,
let's see
Nebraska
y'all
coming
come
up.
out. We got a nice purse for that class. They've been building it up. We got some nice donations, and we're making permanent. That class was always kind of iffy. It was 100% payback, so and we're trying to build that up again. When it was 100% payback, if 2 trucks showed up, there wasn't much to race for. We have guaranteed purses now by some good people donating, and then bringing out more trucks, making the purses grow. So we need more trucks to keep it up.
Yeah. So get out there, super stock trucks, and then let's bring this thing home here with the probably one of the more popular classes. It's the big daddy of them all, the open class. What do you got for the open class, Keith?
These guys are just crazy. A lot of these guys are, with these blowers they're running, they got some massive blowers on. They're making 3,500 plus horsepower. They're clearing the track, 200-foot track in 2 seconds flat. Cresting 120 miles an hour, shooting out into the shutdown area. So it's just you want to see some massive horsepower, some fast cars. They're getting it on cuts and scoops. They run both class. They both run sets of tires, and they're the fastest of the fast. There's no, it's we probably put a lot of different cars in around the country up against our group that we have that follow us, and it'd be pretty hard to beat these guys.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think this is the class where everybody talks about, like, it would be cool to see the 200 and 300 foot racers kind of collab at a race. I think these are the guys they kind of want to see more than anything, is these really fast open. Yeah.
I used to put on a race myself, and I found out as the years went on that we put one pass of the blowers up first just to wake up everybody, to get everybody's attention, get them sitting on the edge of their seats. We'd run one pass of the open cars, make a bunch of noise, get them to come up out of the fair and come up and sit down and want to watch them. And they're just loud. They make a lot of noise, a lot of dirt flying, and they are fast.
Yes, and that's a good strategy. Make the loud ones go first to get everybody's attention. I like that. I'm going to steal that. And then when they run open cuts, it's called the Kelly Odell open cuts. And when they run open paddles, it's called the Dan Richter open paddles. And just those Dan Richter and Kelly Odell, those some past racers. I knew Dan was. I'm not familiar with Kelly.
Both were avid mud racers for many, many years. Both of them lost their lives in their cars. So it really hits home when you lose a racer at our drags, at our races. I don't believe either one of them happened to the MRA. Was offsite, which is irrelevant. But it's just so it was a special place in our heart for these two when they lost their lives. They're both great guys, awesome competitors, and we just wanted to commemorate and honor their memory by naming a class after each one of them.
Well, that's a great way to do it. That's a great way to honor them, especially when they ran the class themselves. Is that right?
Correct. Oh yeah, they were drivers, and both of them were open drivers. Yeah, both of them had the open fast cars.
And then I forgot to mention this earlier. The combined ET and reaction time for this race is the Outlaw Pro Stock class, and that kind of mixes things up a little bit when you have to add the reaction time to the ET.
That makes it challenging, and that's what was a little extra special about his last race was the modified cut. So it was a little extra special that I got off my butt and I got a decent reaction time, and then had a really good ET. So between the two of them, that made it extra special for that win last week. But yeah, this Nebraska coming up is the Outlaw class, where the ET and the RTs are added together, and so it'll be fun to watch that class. That class is still growing. Everybody's still learning how to make these trucks work, because they're big horsepower trucks. They can be blowers, they can be 900 cubic inch injected nitrous motors. You have to sit on the left-hand side, and the engine has to sit out front. So there's a lot of horsepower there to try to control with the way they're set up. So they're also another very fun class. It's evolving. Every race this class is evolving. We're seeing what the possibilities of this class is coming every race that we have.
One of our correspondents, Damian Bowers, described them as ill handling little monsters.
Can't argue the point, because they're not very long. They got some big horsepower sitting out in the front, and they can be a handful.
Well, Thunder in the Pits, Mud Racers Association race, July 12th and 13th, Burwell, Nebraska. I will be there. I'm hoping Keith will be there. He's waiting on some parts. So if you're sending Keith his parts, you better hurry up. Well, Keith, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Hope to have you again sometime, and so we can talk more Mud Racers Association. I really appreciate your time.
I'm glad to do anything we can to support our sport and all motorsports. And so thank you for having us, and hope to see you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Keith.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, drive shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
All right, we are back with couple special guests here. New England Sand Drags reps. We have Justin and Aiden Libby, father and son, and we're going to talk about New England Sand Drags and what they got coming up this coming weekend, July 13th weekend. And we're also going to review some points as well. And first of all, Justin, how you been? We haven't seen you in a minute.
I'm doing very well, very well. We got the season off and running, and everything's going great. Track's great. We've been having good weather and stuff. Everything's going good.
Good. And Aiden, it's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming on the podcast with your dad. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Well, thank you for having me. Obviously, I'm kind of excited to be part of this podcast. So,
absolutely, man. I always be excited. I'm glad to have you. And well, let's go ahead and get into these points real quick for New England Sand Drags. And Justin, I'll kind of let you take it from here. And then if I got a question, I'll just pop in with a question or a comment. And Aiden, at any time, feel free to chime in. And Justin, go ahead and take it away. We'll start with Pee Wees.
Yeah, so Pee Wees, unfortunately, right now, we only got one little Pee Wee racer. They're ages 4 to 6 years old. And Parker Nugent is 4 points. He's made 4 races.
Well, Parker's just dominating. Look at him. He
is. But I think he's got some competition coming up. You know, spring season with baseball and racing gets mixed up. But yeah, he's going to have some competition coming up with baseball season and all that over.
Yes, and hopefully none of those kids play too much summer ball so they can get to the racetrack, which is
That's right.
more important.
That's right.
Well, shout out to Parker. Hopefully he keeps his streak going here. So
yeah.
All right. What about juniors? What do you got for juniors? You got a lot more in juniors.
Yeah, we got quite a few racers in juniors. It's a tough class. We got a couple junior dragsters now, you know, so the class is really moving up and getting updated. It's a lot of fun. We got Logan Perrin with 52 points in first, and then Katrina Clark Phillips in second with 45 points, and Lenny Cushing with 41 points in third. It's a tight class. So the kids are good. They're really nailing down the lights and getting used to everything.
Okay, what about these ATV trail points? And can you kind of explain the difference between ATV trail and your ATV top points?
Okay, so the ATV trail, you'll know more about this, but ATV trail, we have a cutoff time from it's 5-7.
yeah, it's
5-7 is the cutoff for the trail class. and then the top class is
Probably like
there.
5-1.
There's like a buffer in between, so you can run either class. So I believe it's like 5-8 or something. There's like a 10th buffer there, so you can decide what class you want to run in. But those ATV trail class guys, they're it's a big class. They're super competitive. They 5.7 and slower, and most of them, there's a couple modified bikes in there, but for the most part, they're stock bikes.
Yeah, I think that the biggest difference between top ATV and trail class would be basically the modified aspect of it. And what we got in ATV top class, you got snow mods, which is snowmobiles engines put into regular four-wheeler frames or custom frames. They're all custom built in one way or another. Some frames are extended, like mine. Mine's a 400EX body with a 670 Skidoo MXZ motor in it. With
Nice.
It's got like I would say probably a 15 or 16 inch swing arm extension. So yeah, I'm one of the longest ones there. A lot of them also run, because they're running so fast, and kind of the main goal for those is, obviously you probably have already seen before, are lightness. So you want to be real light. So they have wheelie bars and
no weight. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're either sitting on your rear tires and you want all that weight in the rear, so you put a wheelie bar on so you don't go over. So,
yeah,
for sure.
Quite a few modified Banshees in the top class, and stretched out, pro chassis and stuff like that. Couple of alcohol bikes and stuff. They do really good. There's a couple 3.9 bikes that run really consistent.
Well, in your trail class, you really got two people competing for the points so far. Caitlin, or did I say that right? Caitlin Taylor?
Yeah, Caitlin Taylor with 54. She's in first right now, and she's an up and coming. Her family's been there for a long time, and she's really getting into it. She's doing awesome.
Yeah. And I'm not even going to try to say that person's name for this second.
Onisha.
Okay.
Yeah. Richards.
Onisha Richards.
With 52, so she's right there.
Wait, whoa. So there's not that's too surprising nowadays. It's 2024, but there's two ladies at the top of this list for ATV trail class.
The top three are all ladies. Third place is Megan Abbott.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, fellas, what are you doing here? The ladies are running.
I don't. They're quick with the gun, I guess. They're getting the reaction times right out.
Well, dude, that's awesome. Shout out to those ladies. And moving on to your ATV top points here. It's not as competitive, but you still got a good number in that class.
Oh yeah. There's
Aiden's got to do some work here. Aiden, what are you doing, man?
Hey, this is kind of a throwaway year. I have to start working a lot more. So.
Okay.
He's a farmer. He doesn't get a lot of time off.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He took the championship last year.
Oh.
Yeah.
In the ATV top class?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh, well, we're the reigning champ, man. You gotta talk to that. You gotta talk to Boss Farmer Man and try to get back there to retain your title.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan Abbott, he's one of the faster bikes there. He's a 3.9 bike. He's very consistent. He's had a couple good weekends. He's in first right now with the 51 points, and it'll tighten up and towards the end of the year. A lot of, we get into the end of the year and it's always stiff competition. It tightens right up on the points.
Well, yeah. Well, then you Ethan Abbott, current first place, and then Woody Wormwood, in second, and you got a tie in third. I mean, Ethan's only got a 10-point lead, which may be a lot. I don't know, but
no, it's not. That's like one race.
Okay.
One race, you can make all that up.
Okay, so Aiden, you can still win this thing, dude.
Oh yeah, he could.
I'll try. I'll try my hardest.
Yeah, we
I'm,
want
I'm
to see
playing with
that.
I'm playing with my reaction times this year, so I'm trying to get that perfect light. I got one already this year, so.
Whoa, well, now you're working a lot. Now you're playing with reaction times. You're juggling way too much at this point. You guys got to do one. Yeah. I'm just kidding.
He's still young. He doesn't get the gist of bracket racing.
How old are you, Aiden?
I'm 21.
You're 21. Okay. Okay. You're younger than me, so we'll leave it at that. Moving on to street class points. Explain your street class for me, please.
So the street class is really evolved, and it's more of a street / modified class. So they're allowed to run cuts, paddles, anything like that. There's 2 or 3 Broncos, late 70s Broncos that are fiberglass bodied and stuff. And it's pretty much like a time cutoff, and they don't allow electronics. They call it pretty much, they don't allow training brakes in the modified class and stuff like that. It's a very good class. With the price of trucks and stuff nowadays, the street class kind of petered out, and we kind of split up the in between street trucks and the top eliminator cars. So they're kind of bunched together. I mean, you can take a pickup off the street, but with a $60,000 pickup, not a lot of people want to race it down the track.
No, yeah, for sure. Just so people know, when he says top eliminator, it's not your, known across the country as the 295 index. Their top eliminator is a little different. We'll get to that here in a second. But we're looking at the street class points here. Rob, I don't know how you say that.
Rob Sear.
Sear, okay. Rob Sear with the lead so far. And Scott Anthony and Lenny Cushing kind of close behind there.
Yeah. They're all keeping a tight group, and Rob Sears in an older. He came from mud with it's an early 80s El Camino, and he just keeps stuffing the power to it. He's running like 4.8s right now, but he has to index at the 5.0 cutoff.
Yeah.
So he's sandbagging pretty bad, and it's a fun. Hey, it's part of racing. That's what bracket racing's about.
Yeah, and sometimes you sandbag. Certain somebody in Tennessee would hate that. But who's Frank, and why are they not doing so well? Frank Libby.
He's the jacked up.
So he's got like a I see him a lot down south, but he's got a 4-seater side by side.
Y'all not related?
No.
You just had the same last name.
No, that's it. No, he just started coming having fun with us last year, and he's got this massive Polaris, I don't know what it is, side by side with these little pizza cutter mud tires on that are like 40 inches tall, and he just can't get traction going down the track. But I mean, he's doing really great, and he's having a lot of fun. It's just tough to bracket race with that.
Well, people bracket race with side by sides a lot. I will be quite frank about Frank. I don't care as much knowing that he's not related to you. I thought he was. So, but shout out to Frank for showing up in the 4-seater side by side every race.
Oh yeah, he's having a lot of fun.
All right, now explain. We're going on top. It just says top points, but it's your top eliminator class, right?
Yeah.
What is that?
So the top eliminator class, it's pretty much whatever you want to put in it. It's our top class. The track record is like 3-4. A lot of guys try to shoot for that. We got a lot of the older guys that run a lot of consistent 4.2 to 4.5. That's most of the class runs 4.0 to 4.5. There's no time limit on it. You have to run faster than 5.29. to get into the class, but once you're into the class, you can run superchargers, turbos, alcohol, whatever you want, super scoopers, bigger diggers. That there's no.
It's basically a run what you brung bracket class, right?
Pretty much,
Okay.
and it all pretty much boils down to you got to run faster than the 5.29, I think it is.
Gotcha.
And you're into that class.
Well, cool. And then pertaining to the points here, what do you got?
We got Mike Ritchie in first with 50, Lenny Cushing in second with 45, and Mark Jones in third with 41 points. That's a really tight class.
Yeah, because you got Brian Ritchie's
tailing right behind.
And then Mike Abbott. I mean, everybody's pretty close. The top 6, 7
yeah,
still have a chance in it. So
yeah, that'll. I'm gonna keep up with the podcast, and you'll see our race coming up this weekend will mark our halfway point. We're going into the last 5 races. Okay. So you're gonna see it. It's gonna every weekend bounce back and forth. Well,
it sounds like you guys are gonna be fighting. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah, it usually is. The last 3 races, it's usually you have no idea who's actually got it. Every now and then we get a year that somebody really runs away, but I don't. As far as I can tell right now, I don't see that happening.
Well, I'll tell you what. It looks like you're running the other direction in these points here, Justin.
I blew up.
You and our boy Nick got to step up here a little bit.
Well, so Nick switched to alcohol, and he's been having problems with it. Makes sense. He's actually, he got it down last race. It ran really good, and 2 races ago, 2 or 3, I blew up the rear end of my car.
Oh no.
So
damn it.
So mine's on jack stands at the moment, but
well, hopefully it'll come down and you can get back to racing.
Yeah, well, I've been sitting in that seat for probably over 20 years, and now when stuff comes out, it gets really redone. It's not like I'm 20 years old anymore and just slap it back together, go back racing. I'm really redoing it and doing it nice.
So you've been running the same car for 20 years.
Yeah, I bought my sand drag car. I want to say it was 20 years ago, and I bought that for $1,500 from a guy out of Schenectady, New York. And I don't get me wrong, I've stuffed some junkyard 350s in it and went racing, quite a few of them. But I'm getting older now, and I'm putting a lot more time into the car, and it's running really good.
Good. But like to hear that. And then Aiden, you mentioned it earlier. You have a 670 Rodix on I forgot what you said before that.
400 EX body that's stretched.
400 EX body with the 670 Rodix in there.
Yep. So
okay.
My times are usually in the 4.3s, 4.4s.
Okay.
So
yeah, you're moving pretty well then.
Yeah, I'm one of the fastest in the class. So, but
awesome.
You know, like I said, I was playing with those lights, so I've been kind of screwing myself.
Well, you gotta practice. Yeah, you only get better if you practice. So
yeah.
Well, hey, you guys have a big race coming up this weekend, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this weekend we're kind of intertwined with where we race. Our sanctioned track, or whatever you'll call it, is Osprey Valley Fairgrounds in Hiram, Maine, and we race there all year round. But it intertwines with the actual fair, so we're going to be racing during the fair. So Thursday night we're going to try it out. We got some land share riders with side-by-sides that are coming up, and we're just going to do kind of a little bit of a grudge racing match on Thursday night to kick off the weekend. And then Friday night they got parades and all kinds of stuff. And then Saturday we're gonna we'll be on the track racing. We do time trials. They usually start about 10 o'clock or whatever. We do time trials, run them till early afternoon, get like 2 or 3 good time passes in. And then we come in and we do kind of like a gambler's race. It's single elimination. You can buy back usually like first, second round is $10, to enter the race, and then $10 to buy back. But it's single elimination and all the money goes right back to the winner. And it's kind of cool because we mix all the classes. So what we do is we take in the top class and the modified street class will all be intertwined. So you got 4.0 cars running 8-second street pickups, and it's pretty cool. They do the same thing on the ATV side, the trail and the top, and they bracket race, and it's single elimination. That's a lot of fun. And then Sunday we get right into our next points race.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys got a big weekend coming up then, and that's pretty cool. The buyback money goes straight to the winner.
Yeah. So
that's pretty unheard of.
So the way I think I've already talked to you about this before. We're a nonprofit, and so in order for us to do payouts, I know a lot of guys like the payouts, so I'm actually the treasurer, but so I take all of the entry money and I pay back 90% and keep 10% for on a regular race, 10% for operational costs, fuel and the equipment and all that.
For sure.
So I pay back, and it's kind of a pain in the ass because I got 5 classes or 4 classes that I pay back 3 spots and all that. But this race, when we do animals, it's literally you take all the money and the winner of, because it cuts it down to 2 classes really, and you pay back whatever is put in, split it, and then I think second place we pay whatever the entry was, $10 or whatever it was, so they all the money goes right back.
Cool. Well, cool. And then you guys were talking about the classes get thrown together. You basically got 2 open bracket classes, one for cars and one for bikes.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a lot of fun because you see, especially for the AT and also, the street trucks and modified and all that, we're all like from 6 seconds down to 4 seconds. And then, but you get into the ATV classes, you got 10-second bikes running 3.9 bikes. They're sitting at the tree waiting for 5 seconds before they take off. And then
we had a situation like that at my race in Kentucky where Damien was running my mini bike here, and he was racing he was dialed in a 1050 racing against somebody dialed in a 332.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But if I ever come to New England, I'm bringing this beast with me, and I'm gonna own that trail class.
Well, bring it up, and we're also gonna try out a little golf cart racing on Thursday night. If we're overloaded with side by sides, we probably won't do it, but we're planning a golf cart because we camp out for the weekend, so there's as much as 20 golf carts there, and it's always
absolutely golf carts are awesome.
In the pits all the time. Now we're gonna find out who's got the fastest.
Yeah, you guys should definitely do that. Golf pit vehicle races are always such a blast. An idea that you guys should probably do, just give it a shot sometime, like a truck takeover event at your guys' track, where you just have nothing but street trucks, pack the track flat, let them eat it alive, have a truck show, stuff like that. It usually turns out really well. We did one at Thunder Valley last year, and it was our biggest event in like 15 years. So people just love trucks, those stupid squatted trucks and shit. People love it.
Yeah. We used to do that, and I think we're going to start back up next year. Napa used to sponsor us, and we used to do a Napa Street Truck Challenge on Saturday nights, and we'd get, like you said, we'd get a pile of trucks, one-time trial, and then we'd actually let them bracket race and do one
Yeah.
time trial and single elimination, no buybacks.
Yeah, give them 3 classes: heads up gas, heads up diesel, and a bracket class, and everybody will have a blast.
We don't even mess with that.
All right, well then don't. Fine.
We put them all in one pile. You want to beat everybody? I want to see a diesel beat a gas on bracket racing.
Yeah, that is entertaining. You give them 2 classes to run though.
Yeah, that's true. If we had enough, we would split. Probably.
Well, you can make them. You can split them up and then just put them together and run all 3 classes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Justin and Aiden, thank you guys so much for coming on and joining me today. It's been a great time, great conversations. New England Sand Drag's running this weekend, July 13th and July 14th. They got a big weekend ahead, and they're racing for points on Sunday. So if you're close, what state is it in? I forgot.
It's in Maine.
It's in Maine. Okay, so
Yeah.
so
Southern Maine.
we got Southern Maine. So there's, some of our East Coast guys. You can go out there to a track you've never been to before, have some fun. July 13th and 14th this coming weekend, and you never know. Book a trip out there. Could be fun. And well, hey, once again, Aiden, Justin, thank you guys so much again for joining us. And we are definitely gonna have you back on again to talk soon.
Sounds great, man.
Good talking with you.
Thank you guys.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, dry shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com. And the UPS Daily.
All right, back with another guest. We have Derek Howard, promoter at Atoka Motorsports Park, and we're going to talk about their upcoming points race this weekend. July 13th points race. First of all, Derek, how you doing? Haven't seen you since Heartland.
I'm doing good. It seems like it's been a long 6-7 weeks, however long it's been.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, you guys haven't raced since Memorial Day weekend. I bet you guys are itching.
Yes. Or I'm ready to get back. I hope the racers are.
Yeah. I hope so, too. It may be a little warm, but, y'all are accustomed to that by now. So,
yeah.
So let's get into this race you guys got coming up, and let's get into these points a little bit here. And let's kind of start from the bottom up per se. What do your guys' Pee-wee's class? You got a good running for first and second there. Sways Stevens and Dalton Thomas so far.
Yes, the Swayze won it in 2022. So she's got a little bit of experience there. She's got Nene, that would be her crew chief. That'd be Anita Zerlin. That helps her out. Got 75 points total. Looks like she's got back-to-back runner-ups in April and May.
Okay.
So, and then Dalton Thomas finished second last year in the points, part of that Team 34. Brad Thomas is his dad, part of that Baker bunch down there from Bonham.
Mm-hmm.
This the round behind. Looks like Dalton won in March and then has semifinal finish and a first round loss. So that first round loss really hurt Dalton. And then in third, you got Blake Paul, which is pretty new, started last year. Won in November of last year. Jared Prescott is his dad.
All right.
And they've been doing good for a short time of racing.
Well, you got some competitive kids here, and these the top three kids you listed here, they're within 10 points of each other. So it's definitely still competitive. And then you got the bottom four all tied at 50. And those kids are, those kids with 50 points, they can still go around and win this thing, couldn't they?
Yes.
All
I
right.
say anybody within 50, at least 50 at this race has a shot at it. I
All
would
right.
say.
Okay.
And
Well,
the Peewees are the only ones that do not do double points.
Pee-wees are the only ones that do not do double points, which is totally reasonable.
We need to rename the double points race. It's more like a double header, kind of like in NHRA divisional series where they have the double header races.
Mhm.
That's more like this is. You get points in the trophy, and then you get points in the money.
Oh,
It's
so that's
not-
it. Well, that's this weekend. Double points or double header.
Double header is what it should be.
Okay. Well, look at that. You get double the point. Well, it might as well be double points because it makes sense either way. But double header sounds cooler for sure. So I'll roll with that all day. Double header this weekend at Atoka. Yeah, that's awesome. But Pee-wees don't get to participate in the double header, which they get their glory at the beginning of the day. And then we move on to you guys just run your regular program. Pro 1 cars, Pro 2 cars, Pro 1 quads, Pro 2, Pro 3 quads, and juniors. They all just run their time trials and then run eliminations right after, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. And then in these junior points here, what do you got? What do you got for us, Derek?
A new timer looks like is on top. Carly Frazier. As far as I know, started the season in March with a win. I don't remember her name or seeing her before March. So started the season out with the win, then April first round loss, and then a second round loss in May, which a rookie in the sport, leading the points, not bad. Kaysen Hall second. Kaysen's been in the junior class a few years now. He's getting close to probably graduating up to Pro 2 cars. He drives that Jeep Wrangler. Probably could be the favorite to win. Kaysen has that first round loss in March, and then a runner up in April and a semifinal finish in May. And then I know he went several rounds at Heartland, which Heartland is not a points race, but maybe he's got a little bit of momentum coming into this race. And then third is Gregory White. That is somebody I think will give Kaysen definitely a hard time for the championship. And then another rookie, Gavin Owens and Bodie Smithart. Realistically, anybody within 35 points has a shot at the junior championship, I would say.
All right. Yeah, because I'm looking on your website. It's the top 5 that shows on your website. But yeah, that's Emily Matthews tied for 5th also. So these kids all still got a shot, still pretty early for you guys.
I would pick Emily, possibly being an upset, but the last 2 years, Emily has not attended the July double points race.
Ooh.
So I don't think you can win it without attending that.
Yeah.
Because you're giving up 20 points automatically.
Right. Yeah. You cannot give up the points like that. But, stuff happens. These kids in the summer, they got sports and stuff. So it totally makes sense,
Maybe Emily will prove me wrong and show up this time. But
yeah, then you'll have to eat it, Derek.
I will.
Pro 3 quads. What do you got? And what's the time split for everybody for Pro 3 quads?
Pro 3 is 6 flat and slower.
6.00 seconds and slower and 300-foot sand drags.
That's correct.
That's awesome. I competed in that class. It's a lot of fun, except I ate a belt and I didn't go anywhere. So that sucked, but a lot of fun. What do you got for points? Pro 3 quads.
Pro 3 quad, you got Gage Furham on top with 60 points. Gage has been going around, seems like every race, seems like either in the trophy and the money. Seems like I fill out a plaque slip for him almost every race, so he's going the rounds. I think he will be there at the end of the year. Well, unless something happens and, but I think Gage will be there at the end of the year, battling for the championship. Anita Zerlin is second, 55 points. It's the round behind. She got a win in March. And then Alexa Cowick is third, 45 points. She has a first round loss and a missed race, but a win in May. So if her work schedule allows her, she could definitely get back in this championship. This being 15 out. And then you got Anthony Moss right there in fourth with 40 points. So, but somebody told me Anthony's going to miss a race. So if it's this one, I don't see him coming back and winning it.
Oh man. Well, guys, this is the race you can't miss. July. You cannot miss July. It's two
Don't hold me
races.
to it if it is this one, but I heard that he was going to have to miss a race this season. I can't remember if it's July, August, or which one.
Well, missing July is basically missing two races. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy. Well, Pro 3 is still very competitive, as always, and looking for some good things out of that for sure.
Yes.
And then Pro 2 quads. What is Pro 2 quad split again, please?
5 flat to 6 flat, or 5.99.
5.00 seconds to 5.99 seconds. Bracket racing.
Yes.
All right. All right. And what do you got for points here? What do you got?
This class is pretty interesting to me as far as the top 3 for sure. That's where you find the 3 youngsters that are all technically they could still run in the juniors, but they chose to move up on their own, and they're leading the points over the adults. Jace Casson's 2-time junior champion is leading with 55. Looks like he got a win in April. And then Cameron Pate is second and is 5 points behind with 50. Cameron's got a runner up in April. And then Axel has a win in May, and then he won the Heartland. And he also missed a race. So he gave up 10 points, and he's 10 points behind Jace.
That's crazy. He could be leading or tied.
He could be tied for sure, yes. And then Anthony Moss and Stephanie Smithhart and Roy Cooper right there behind them.
All right. All right. Pro 2 quads, always competitive.
I take that back. Roy's a little farther behind than what I thought. He only has 25.
Oh, okay.
Anthony and Stephanie are 40, so 15 behind. So
gotcha. Well, them youngsters taking them old heads to new school.
Veterans.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we're gonna move on to Pro 2 cars. Pro 2 cars. And then what is the ET brakes for that class? Pro 2 cars.
Pro 2 car is 4.50 seconds and slower. Must have a rotate.
450. Okay. All right. I like it.
And a side by side counts as either a Pro 1 or Pro 2 car.
You said side by sides can race in Pro 2 cars?
Yes.
In Atoka, Oklahoma, I could take my side by side. I don't have one, but if I had one, I could take one to Atoka, Oklahoma and race it in Pro 2 cars.
Yep.
Against dragsters and stuff like that?
Yes, sir.
That would be awesome.
We kind of changed that rule a few years ago when the quad classes were so big. Pro 2 was struggling. We changed that to try to make that class bigger. Now the quads are kind of struggling. So
yeah,
maybe the quads will come back.
Y'all will prevail. It'll happen, man. It'll happen. And side tangent, Thunder Valley's, losing cars, almost have none. So, our quads are doing pretty well though. So, it's like our problems are reversed, but either problem sucks. So,
Yes.
but anyway, back to Pro 2 cars. Pro 2 cars, 450 and slower, ET wise. What do you got for points?
Right now, there's a tie for the lead.
Oh,
Audra Matthews and Luke Heisey are both tied with 70. Audra runnered up in March. Luke won. And then Audra won May. And then Audra won. She won Saturday night at Heartland. So she's got a little bit of momentum coming in. For Luke, I think he's either been in. I know he's been in 3 different cars. He may have been in 4, and he's got 3 finals in 3 different cars. So Luke may be the one that takes her out this year. With her 2 times. He's going for 3 championships, or 3 in a row. And then right behind them, 5 points behind, is Jessica Powell. Jessica won April, and May was not a good month for Jessica. 1 round win in the 2 races, Heartland and the points race. So maybe Jessica will get it on the other side and start getting back to round win.
well, you got that guy who freaking picks a spot for her and needs to figure out what he's doing.
Something like that.
That's Derek. If y'all didn't know that, that's Derek that lines her up and picks a spot for her. I'm giving him a crap right now.
Yep.
But yeah, those top 3. I mean, you said she had 1 round win in May, and she's still 5 points behind first place.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Looks like she's killing everywhere else.
William Rainey and Cliff Schultz are technically still in it. 40 and 35 point. They need something to happen this weekend though.
And Jimmy Smith.
Yes, Jimmy Smith's also in there.
Jimmy Smith is in it. Still very competitive.
And looking back on history, this is one of Audra's worst races, the July double points race. So,
maybe she can overcome it.
Hope so.
Hopefully she can defeat the past and overcome. Well, she better. She's tied for first, and second place is right behind them. So they better figure it out.
Yep.
Or Audra should, as what I meant to say.
I wouldn't count her out though. I mean, she's usually going to run 450, 451, and have a 50 light or better. So she's definitely not an easy.
Well, Audra's got good coaching, that's for sure.
That's true. She's got 3 other points champions in her.
Yeah, that definitely helps, doesn't it?
Her side.
Yeah. Pro 1 quads. We're gonna move on to Pro 1 quads here. And this is, you guys changed it this year. It's $4.99 and faster, correct? For Pro 1 quads.
Correct. Yes.
4.99 seconds and faster. And what do you guys?
And we changed the tree, so it's Pro Tree now.
It's a Pro Tree. Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, Pro Tree. So
like y'all at Thunder Valley, is that correct?
Correct. Yep, that's what we do, and hopefully that's what we can all do for Mid America next year.
Yes.
So Pro 1 quads. Well, Bryce Williams is just owning it.
If anybody's got a little comfortable, I would say Bryce is one of them with a 30-point lead coming in. So if he's going to have a bad race, he could possibly be one of the racers that would be okay with a 30-point lead. Started out the season with back-to-back wins in March and April. Bryce is kind of like Jessica Powell, only one round win in the month of May. So he's another racer that wants to get May behind and go back to March and April and get some round wins. Matthew Lamb, second points, 30 behind. That's a full race. So right now it's battle for second, and then you got Dylan Civils, Greg White, and Nick Allen, and I believe Roy Cooper is all tied for 35.
Wow. Yeah, they are. And what's interesting about Bryce Williams is that, you know, he's riding that Keith Ahart bike, which I'll mention every time because it's an awesome bike.
Yes. And
Very
I think he's in the works on maybe trying to get something else from Keith, maybe.
Oh.
We'll just have to see.
Oh, okay. Breaking news. I like it. So yeah, Bryce Williams with a 30-point lead, and you know, you never know. It's like you said, it's a battle for second place as of right now, but hopefully Bryce Williams can let's see how he ends this thing and finishes strong here, if he lets up off the gas or not.
Yes.
All right, and then your guys' probably most exciting class, I would say, your Pro 1 cars, 4.49 seconds and faster. You guys are on a Pro Tree staggered light, and man, this class is a banger. I'll just say that because you guys average about 20 entries every race, right?
Yes.
Or more. Yeah.
Those two.
Well, then what do you got for points here?
Right now, if somebody else wants to be a little bit comfortable, Brad Civils has got to be a little bit comfortable maybe with a 20-point lead over JT. 85 total for Brad. A runner up in March and then a win in May. And then I think that's a semifinal finish in April. So we've been going rounds. Now, I know the Heartland wasn't very nice to him, but as far as points, that was okay because he didn't lose any points. But as far as points races, he's been going rounds every race. But JT's got the win in April, and then a first round loss in May. That didn't help him at all. John Acker missed May. He started the season off with a win. John is 55 points total. And then you got Daniel Baker and Jimmy Fletcher, both at 50. Daniel Baker also missed the season opener. He turned his car over to his son Brayden. And he got a runner-up in April and a semifinal finish in May. Then like Amanda Matthews, she's way down there at 35, but was it 10 round wins in a row at the Heartland?
Yeah.
So momentum's on her side.
Yeah,
She
she's
can carry
dangerous.
that over to July.
She is always dangerous, and John Acker's only 30 points away. So that could easily, knowing John Acker, that could easily be filled. But
he gave up 10 by missing the May points race.
Yeah, see, and who knows what would happen if he showed up to that. So, well, hey, this is Atoka's got some competitive point series going on here now. Anything that you're kind of looking forward to from this weekend besides finally getting back out there after a couple, like almost 2 months off?
Basically just looking forward to seeing everybody and see if we can maybe get done before too late and have a good race. Hopefully everything works correctly and won't be too hot, hopefully. It will be. I mean, it's going to be 95.
Yeah, it's going to be hot.
Probably 90% humidity. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one.
That's normal Atoka weather, you know? Well, Derek, thank you again for coming on and joining us for this episode. We will be sure to check in with you again for an update on the points, and we'll update the winners from this race after it happens. So, and once again, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for all y'all do.
Thank you,
Really
sir.
appreciate y'all promoting Atoka.
Yeah. We like to grow the sport, and you helped us with that. So we like to turn that around, thank you around to you. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hey everyone, this week's podcast sponsored by Racing in the Dirt. Located in Cleveland, Wisconsin, Racing in the Dirt is ready to put their over 30 years worth of off-road experience to work for you. From turnkey builds to rolling chassis to an awesome selection of parts, the Racing in the Dirt staff has got you covered. Brake kits, aluminum hub kits, enclosed chain drives and kits, dry shaft loops, and even DIY wheelie bar kits, all available. So let Scott, Shane, and the crew at Racing in the Dirt get you the competitive edge you need. Give them a call at area code 920-693-2000. That's area code 920-693-2000. Or find them on Facebook or even racinginthedirt.com. That's racinginthedirt.com and the UPS Daily.
Alrighty. More previews for this coming weekend. Racing at Greens Raceway in Henderson, Michigan is the Mid-Michigan Trail Runners, aka Greens Drag Strip. These guys are racing this coming weekend, July 13th. And I just wanted to notice something that they posted on their Facebook page. They had a racer, longtime racer, somebody that's been going to their track, it looks like for a while. Steve England passed away. Sorry to hear about that. Thoughts and prayers to family, and may he rest in peace. That is definitely unfortunate. So rest in peace, Steve. But Mid-Michigan Trail Runners, aka Greens Drag Strip, is racing this weekend. Along with Greens Drag Strip in Henderson, Michigan, Greens Raceway in Virginia is also racing this weekend. Disputanta, Virginia. Sorry, I don't know how to say that. I probably butchered it, but they are racing this weekend as well. And looks like they have already canceled their test and tune for Top Fuel bikes. And they are having rain chances each day, and they don't want to tear the track up too much. So they got a truck race. That's what it is. They got a truck race on Saturday, and they're hoping for a good turnout. Hopefully the weather stays away and they can get a good race in. I know they're doing that series with Newtown, so that's cool to see. So if you got a cool pickup truck, you're in the Virginia area, head over to Greens Raceway in Virginia. I was going to try to say it again, but I'll be all wrong. Make sure you find them on Facebook. It's kind of hard to find them on Facebook. Greens Raceway, presented by Fowler Racing. Once again, Greens Raceway, presented by Fowler Racing. But yeah, Greens, Michigan is also a little tough to find on Facebook. It's the Mid-Michigan Trail Runners, a.k.a. Greens Drag Strip. And then moving on, Shelton's Dirt Drags is having a bracket race this weekend, I believe. And their regular race lineup, they just have the guys come out, run some time trials, and then they go racing. So shout out to Shelton's. They're going to be running this weekend. So if you got a fast bike, a good opportunity to get back to Shelton's after a very good PSDA weekend. Our brothers across the pond in Puerto Rico, they are running a test and tune this weekend with those badass cars. And I tell you what, they are looking to run some numbers, and we are looking forward to seeing some good things out of those guys across the pond. Puerto Rico, always looking stout in the things they do. And I hear they're coming around to having some real good events again for some racing. And I can't wait for that either. So once again, shout out to Greens Drag Strip, Henderson, Michigan, Greens Raceway and Disputanta, Virginia, Shelton's Dirt Drags in Stanford, Kentucky, and then in Puerto Rico, they're running a test and tune. I don't know exactly which track that is. All right, and that was just some quick previews for some races coming at you this weekend across the country.